What's up, everyone? Welcome back, episode 14. We are live. Chris, how you doing?
I'm good.
We're always live.
Yeah, we
We're
live.
always live.
We live.
Never not live. If that makes any sense at all.
That doesn't. I don't know
No.
what you're saying.
Yeah, how are you? Tough week? Tough weekend? Tough weekend for you? A little bit? Still trying to remorse? Or are we moving on to this week in fantasy?
Yeah, I know what you're trying to get at.
Well, I had to bring it up. That was a tough loss. Josh is just, I don't know.
Josh Allen's just going through a little rough patch, and he's gonna come out of it this week.
This week, yeah, Jets. All right, bang. Minnesota Minute. Let's keep talking. Vikings beat the Saints. Kind of cruising. Play the Broncos Sunday Night Football in Denver. Gophers football, on the other hand, lost to Purdue, and they have to unfortunately play Ohio State this weekend. Timberwolves riding a 6-game win streak. We'll get to them later. They play the Warriors, Suns, and Pelicans coming up. Gopher basketball starting out hot, 2-0. Plays Missouri this Thursday and then plays Saturday against South Carolina Upstate. That's a team?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's their colors?
They're green.
Yeah,
I knew they were green, but I didn't know that was an actual team.
Yeah.
And then lastly, the Minnesota Wild, 5-8-2. They're unfortunately riding a 3-game losing streak, but they come back to Minnesota to play Ottawa, Toronto, and Colorado.
Okay.
Tough start for the Wild, but that's okay. Long season.
That is a long scene. I saw a thing. It was like, this is the first time. I can't remember the year, so this is not a very good fun fact for you, but it's like the first time that the Wolves and the Vikings have been on a 5-game win streak at the same time in like a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang. Well, hopefully they can keep it
Since
going.
like, I think it's at least 2003 or something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because I mean, how often does an NFL team go on a 5-game win streak? Probably not that often.
Right. Well, the crazier thing is, yeah. I mean, any NFL team to go on a 5-game win streak is pretty
Right.
just in general.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
And then you have the opposite where basketball, yes, I guess it's a little more common because you play more games, but yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Good for us.
Yep.
Good
So there you
for
go.
us.
Let's get into the roundtable now. Why don't you start, NFL?
Yeah, you want me to go NFL? So NFL, this is hot off the press. Bills fire offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey. 2 seasons there as the offensive coordinator. It's currently 5-5. I think they had enough after Monday night.
He just didn't have it.
I think they had enough.
I'll speak for everybody. He didn't have it.
He just didn't have it. I mean, it's tough. It is tough. You have one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
One of the best receivers.
One of the best receivers. Your defense, yes, is a
One
little
of the
hurt,
best
but
tight ends.
one of the best tight ends. A decent receiving core, some would say.
Yeah, decent.
Decent running back. And you just are 5-5 and you haven't looked great.
Well, the offense just looks terrible, and it's like it's one of the things where every time a good offense has a bad game, and you actually watch the game and they don't get it to their best players, it's like, what the heck are you guys doing?
Mm-hmm.
You could throw it to him every 3 or 4 plays.
Yeah.
You wouldn't complete all the passes, but chances are he's probably gonna be open.
Well, and
A good amount of those.
And I also think watching that game too, where it was like, yes, you have Pat Surtain on him, who's a very good defender. Okay, put him in motion. If Pat Surtain
Do
follows
something.
on someone else, put him in motion and look at the motion. It was like these guys just didn't know. And then I was watching the Manning cast,
Yeah.
and they had Patrick Mahomes on. And just by the way they lined up, Mahomes literally predicted like 4 straight plays, and he was like, their offense is so predictable now. And defenses know it.
Really?
It's crazy.
Oh boy.
I mean, I hope it changes, but it's just like, dude, at some point, it's like, dude, and Patrick Mahomes is obviously very smart. He could probably do that to a lot of, like, kind of gets
I
the
wish I
gist,
would
but
have watched that. I didn't see that.
he literally projected the 3 plays, and I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, not like the call to play, whatever it was, but it was like play action or RPO, roll out to the right,
Yeah.
run to the left. And it was just like, holy crap, dude.
Wow.
But,
That's incredible.
yeah, hopefully it turns around. Jets this week.
Yeah, we need it.
Yeah.
We do.
Shut up.
I mean, I'm very invested
Yeah.
in a couple teams,
Yeah.
and when they don't do well, then
Yeah.
it's not good.
Yes, there you go. What do you got?
That was mine.
Oh, that was, what do you got for, what's
No,
your-
I didn't have NFL. Go NCAA football.
Oh, so my NCAA
Ride
football
the wave, baby. Ride
is
it.
riding kind of the same wave. A lot of people know that there was a few coaches that were fired this weekend. Jimbo Fisher in particular. Zach Arnett from Mississippi State. I did realize that Zach Arnett was kind of a replacement from last year from Mississippi
He
State.
only lasted
unfortunately.
11 games.
Yeah, he took over once Mike Leach unfortunately passed away. But Jimbo Fisher is the crazy story because they still have to owe him $76 million.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's crazy about it is, so now he's getting paid $76 million to do nothing. And then on top of it, I think it was last year or the year before, he brought in the number 1 recruiting class. They had the number 1 recruiting class.
Well, they're probably going to leave now.
That's what I'm saying. So now what are you going to do? And who are you going to find that's better than him? Take PJ.
I don't know.
It's just different. I mean, it's like, dude, you owe him $76 million. You couldn't milk out 2 more years?
No.
It's just crazy.
They don't want to be mediocre, David.
So you owe him $76 million, and then you also owe the new coach whatever you want to pay him.
Right.
That's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the new coach won't be a big lump sum.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just still saying it's still another
Yeah, you're going to have
burden.
to owe him or him or her a lot of money.
Yeah. That would be... I mean, I'm not saying it won't ever happen, but I'm saying for an SEC school to fire Jimbo Fisher, arguably a pretty big name coach, and then to be like,
hey, you never know.
We're signing, I don't even know, Susan Anderson.
You said Susan, I said Susie. That's wild.
Yeah, Anderson. I don't know. So yeah, I think it's crazy. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
but there it is.
That's a lot
of firing. Never like to see it. Sometimes.
Okay, moving on to the basketball roundtable. We got NBA power rankings this week. 76ers 1. The Wolves have moved up to 2, which makes me very happy. Mm-hmm. Nuggets 3, Celtics 4, and the Mavericks 5.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those teams are playing very well. Obviously, the Timberwolves riding a very hot streak, 6-game win streak.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Sixers are also have shown a lot, but I mean, it helps when Tyrese Maxey apparently is like the best player on the planet.
He scored 50 points the other night.
I know, he just keeps balling out.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. I saw this quick on Tyrese Maxey. There was a story, he was talking to JJ Redick in college, where they were reminiscing about college, and he goes, he played one game where he scored like 19 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. And the night before on like a Tuesday. Yeah. And he just looks at JJ and goes, I knew my ass won't go into class the next day. I'm going to league. And they just stopped. He just like stopped after that, and JJ just started laughing. I was like, damn, that bro knew. But he's been good.
I mean, I love that.
Yeah. I mean, he's been playing well. And I think the other thing too, what's crazy is like all those teams. Obviously, like the Denver Nuggets with Jamal Murray getting hurts.
Yeah.
Like no pun intended. Like that really hurts. And that's why they've kind of lost a few games. But
they've only lost 2.
Right, that's what I'm saying, but I don't think. I mean, they did lose to the Timberwolves, which was great, but I just think it's hard. Like they
lost to the Wolves with Jamal Murray, and then they just lost to the Rockets without him. So they've only lost 1 game without him.
Well, yeah, that's your team, the Rockets, top 10. This might be the first time in history the Rockets have been top 10 since Tracy McGrady was on the team and Yao Ming.
I think they probably were with Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook and James Harden, but other than that,
that's a long time ago.
It's probably been about 5 years or so.
Yeah.
I mean, they just jumped so high. They went to 9 from 26.
They're also running a 5-game win streak. They started out 0-3.
Yeah.
Now they're 5 games. So
yeah, they're cruising.
Yeah.
And then the NCAA basketball one, a little fun story for you. So Fairleigh Dickinson, if you remember them, they beat Purdue last year. They were the 16th seed that beat Purdue in the first round, the number 1 seed. And a lot of times when this type of victory and this magnitude happens, money will come into the school, to the program, to the athletic department, and it will make a big difference for that school. Mm-hmm. Well, it did for Fairleigh Dickinson, because apparently their film room has been a shower room. Basically, like if you're picturing a locker room, like a room off to the side where it has a bunch of showers in it, and it's just like a community shower room. That's their film room that they've been using for a while now. And like the coach said that every once in a while a shower head drips like every 15 seconds or so. So because they beat Purdue, a bunch of money came in. They got to their goal of like $500,000 or so. And so now this week they're unveiling their new locker room with a film room attached, so they can move out of the shower and actually have like a comfortable place to watch film.
So did they have like a second shower room?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. It was just like the old shower room.
I don't know. You have to assume you're not, because there was like a projector screen in there.
Right. So you're not using those showers, yeah. Because the screens and everything.
You can't be using those.
Right.
showers.
100%. That's crazy though. I mean, good for them.
So yeah, big moves happening.
Yeah, there it goes.
And just goes to show you how much a big win in the NCAA tournament can do for a program, especially a smaller program like that.
Yeah, 100%.
And of that magnitude. So there you go.
Bang, bang.
And look at that. We're on to the Seltzers.
Nope, we're on to something else.
We're not.
We've talked about this for some people, and you'll get why we're doing this.
It actually works
perfectly. I bet. I know. Oh, yeah?
You did that on purpose.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So, Chris Narum is going to try his hand at identifying 3 different fruits. They all fall under the same tree. And one is a Clementine. What'd you say?
I was going to say David's not going to do it because he's nervous that he wouldn't be able to do it.
And I was already eating half of them.
Yeah. All right.
One is a Clementine, one is a Mandarin, and one is a Tangerine. So they're all sitting here. People can see whatever you want to do. They're all on the plate. There's a lot. I mean, you only have to take one piece if you want. I just gave you half of them. So yeah, good luck.
Will you? Because
you want me to hand it to you?
Yeah, you said you.
Well, they're all freaking. Can you hold this?
Yeah.
Should I grab a napkin? Okay.
I just want like one piece of.
Yeah, is this too much? Look down. Know. Well, you can look down.
Oh, no,
I mean, you don't know they are. I know what they are. All right, so you have a Clementine, a Mandarin, and a Tangerine. Some would say they all taste the same. Yeah, there's seeds in one of them.
This one has seeds in it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I forgot to say that. Okay.
You only have one seed though.
Okay. And it fell on the ground. Oh, 2. See that? Yeah. See. When you were younger, did your parents ever tell you, like, if you ate a seed, it would grow that in your belly?
I don't even remember.
Oh. Must be a Tom and Michelle joke.
Okay. So what are the 3 options again?
Clementine, Tangerine, Mandarin.
Okay.
Do you have your pick for that? Do you want to do them at the end? Or do you want to...
I'm between 2. I'm between Tangerine and Mandarin on that one. That one's not a Clementine.
Okay.
This one's a little sweeter.
Okay. I mean, I don't know how I'm supposed to read this last guy. It's a beast. Want the last one? Okay.
I think that's a Clementine.
Okay. Whoa.
Okay.
Okay, so do you have your... So we'll go first, second, third. So what do you think the first one was?
I think the first one... I think the first one was a Mandarin.
Okay. What do you think the second one? The second one was
Clementine.
Okay. And the third one?
Tangerine.
You mixed up the first and the third.
Dang.
So.
Yeah, the Clementine was
easily the most identifiable.
Yeah. But the other ones were literally identical.
Yeah, very similar. So there you have it. And you knew it wasn't a Clementine because it didn't have a seed. I mean, I don't think Clementines have seeds.
No, but so which one was the one with seeds?
So Mandarin,
Yep.
Tangerine, Clementine.
So the Mandarin.
Mandarin
one.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Got it from your local Cub Foods. There it is.
Thanks, David.
Health. All right, now we're on to seltzers, day 2. And this is why we did it, because one of the seltzers is a Mandarin orange. So Chris has it in his palate. Mandarin orange is one flavor, and the second flavor is pineapple mango. So we'll see.
What are we doing?
Who shook him up? Look at this thing. Look at how... Wait. Pause. Look at how full that is. That's over the brim.
How is that possible?
I don't know. I mean, you saw that.
Also, nobody shook them up. They've been sitting in the fridge since last week.
Yeah, but you saw how high that was.
Yeah, it was very high.
So this is the pineapple mango.
Okay.
That just, I guess, overflowed somehow.
Gracious.
Which is, I don't know. So.
Yeah, I actually
mango?
don't know how that's possible.
So do you think this one will do the same?
No.
Yeah. See? Look how there's a gap. That makes no sense. That was stupid.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is there.
Do you want to probably start with the Mandarin orange because that's what's on your palate, or do you want to wipe it away?
Yeah, I want to do the Mandarin orange first.
Okay.
Is that this one?
This is the Mandarin orange.
Okay.
Okay, pause. usually would take fault, but I don't think I don't know. I don't know if that was my fault. So
We'll just say it was the can's fault, or they're just trying to give us more liquid.
I guess.
That was the pineapple mango one.
Yeah, and it was overflowing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
This one first.
This is the Mandarin orange.
You smell
I don't
more
know.
mandarin or more orange?
Oh, shit.
Just kidding, they're the same. wait a minute. You literally just smelled the microphone.
I put this up like this. I was gonna say something and then
Did it smell like mandarin?
no.
Hmm.
And to be honest, I think I'll say this. At the first taste, I didn't taste anything. The second sip, I kind of got a little more orange. Hint of orange. But I don't think it's a lot. I think these ones,
No, it tastes.
it tastes orangey.
I think it tastes orangey. I don't know. I feel like it's hard to make a seltzer taste like orangey.
Yeah, that's a
I
tough
don't know.
flavor. I agree with that.
It's hard to have it like super flavor forward.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Whereas other kinds, like, let's see, I would say peach is probably like one that's a little bit easier to do.
You think like
Probably
berry?
Yeah, berry for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I almost think watermelon probably falls into that category.
Yeah, I think watermelon's very hard too. Just because you don't want to like overpower with watermelon.
Yeah, but you have to give something.
Right, 100%.
This,
I think this
it's
gives
like
a little.
hint.
Yeah, it's a hint. But I think it kind of goes like, if we're being honest, I think it's kind of very resemblance of the other two we had last week. Like the flavor is just not there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's there, but it's not there. And I will say, I just don't know. I just don't like these as much. You know what these remind me of a little bit? They're like the flavored water, flavored sparkling water.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I mean, you cannot taste any alcohol, that's for sure.
no, which is kind of good. They're not
That
too
is-
carbonated, and there's,
could be a
but
very
the
good
flavor could be turned up just a little bit.
Totally.
So I'm going to give it a 5.5.
Nice, that's what I gave it.
Oh, whoa. All right. So I think it's okay. I don't like it as much as the other two, but I also just don't think, like, here's the thing. Like, when I think of an orange, like biting into an orange or taking a bite of an orange, like, the juice just pops.
Yeah,
It's like one of those fruits where it's like, okay, you bite into it and juice just pops.
totally.
This just doesn't pop.
The,
This has no pop.
I will say, these are hard for me to rate. Now, I remember to last week and this one. So the first 3 out of the 4 in the pack, they're hard to rate because there's just like not that much to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not like you have a lot to rate it off of.
Right.
You
I
know?
100% agree with that. I 100% agree. Like, there's no downfalls from them. I don't think they're bad in any way. They're
Right.
just not something where I'd be like, this was great.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
All right. So what is this one? Pineapple mango.
Yeah, the second one is pineapple mango.
You can smell the pineapple.
And to be honest, this one has, I mean, it smells more flavorful, and I think it tastes a little bit more flavorful than the last few.
There's more flavor.
There's definitely more
for sure.
flavor. So I definitely think you get that pineapple, and I think there's a tiny hint of mango, but I don't think it's, the mango kind of supplements for me the pineapple.
I almost think pineapple is a very hard flavor to like make it so that the flavor is full. Like
Mhm.
I feel like it always kind of like, I don't know, it's hard to describe, like kind of like fades off into like a weirdish aftertaste
Yeah, I could agree
when
with that.
it's in the seltzer form.
Yeah.
Like when you're just eating pineapple, the flavor never fades into kind of like a weird taste.
Mm-hmm.
But in the seltzer form, or like just the flavor part of it, I don't know, just kind of like
It just fades away. There's just not
into
really
like
that.
a weird flavor ish.
Yeah. And I'll say this about these. I don't think they're bad in any ways, but I think you have to kind of lower expectations if you're looking for something that has a lot of flavor. This pineapple mango one probably is on my scale, probably the highest flavorful one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think at the same time, I think, and maybe you can agree or disagree, do you think seltzers that are clear are more so carbonated water than the ones that have color. Like I feel like the ones that we've had color have probably more sugars or more stuff in them, but or more sweet, so they're more like, hey, this has more flavor.
Yeah, probably for sure.
Yeah,
That makes sense to me.
yeah, that's my take.
So what's your rating?
This one's a 6-1.
Okay.
So I think it's my highest one by 0.1. Does classify as number 1, but this pack has been kind of
incorrect.
What's my highest one?
You gave the second one a 6.3 last week.
Oh, then this one's below that then. Barely. But I think the whole thing is like, to be honest, the whole pack, like, is it bad? No. Are they easy to drink? Yeah, but they don't blow me away in anything.
Yeah, so I gave this one a 4.6. It does have the most flavor, but I'm not a huge fan of the flavor.
Yeah.
So I would
Pineapple's an acquired flavor.
Yeah, I would almost rather have the ones that you
Don't
didn't really get that much flavor.
Yeah.
Because it's just like drinking water, essentially.
Yeah.
So
I think the thing is about
that's
it
kind of
is
weird that I prefer the ones without flavor.
Well, in this pack, right?
Yeah, for these 4.
Yeah.
That's a weird concept.
Interesting. But there you go.
All right, so for the overall pack, Dave, you had 6.0, 6.3, 5.5, and 6.1. So
around a 6,
pretty
1,
much
6.2.
Pretty much all the same.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, nothing really changed.
And mine was 4.9, 5.4, 5.5, 4.6. So I would say probably around a 5.
Yeah.
Was mine.
Right.
And yours was around probably a 6-ish.
Yeah. So
There you go.
And that's what they call a review.
A review.
Bang.
Alrighty. Let's talk NCAA football
Okay.
first. So, I think the biggest story is Michigan.
Still, and I think will always be for the rest of the year, to be honest.
You think it'll last the whole year?
Well, I think it will last the whole year because I think every week there will be something where it's like, oh, Jim Harbaugh's not coaching. Oh, then they still won, so who cares? And then it's like, oh, they're going to court on Friday.
Yeah, so
Jim Harbaugh's going to speak. Like, oh, okay. Like,
all right, let's rewind for a bit. Give everybody a 20-second overview of what came about at the end of last week.
with Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah. 20 to 30 second overview.
Well, so everyone knows the sign stealing thing. We've talked about that. Well, we've talked about it before.
All right,
we've talked about it.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously, Michigan had some sign stealing issues, some other issues. This is like their third slap on the wrist, I guess, this year. The guy, Connor Stallings, I think his name was, he got fired, obviously had to do it. But basically, Jim Harbaugh was not allowed to coach the next 3 games, I think. Starting last week was the first one.
The regular season games, yeah.
Regular season, I think he could. It was still kind of the same punishment. I'm pretty sure he could still, like, practice with the team.
Yep, he was good during the week.
But it was the same punishment that happened to him before, where, hey, you can't be there on Saturdays, but you can practice throughout the whole week. We've already given our opinions on that. Now it's going to court. They're trying to get it overturned, obviously, because after this week, Michigan plays Ohio State.
Yep.
That's probably their second biggest game. Obviously, Penn State was their first, but obviously those other 2 teams are, whoever wins that's going to the college football playoff. So I think with that being said, I mean, I don't know. My opinion is different. I mean, I don't know. You can't really, I don't want to punish the kids, but like at some point, how many strikes do you give a coach? I'm sorry. Like, I know it's Jim Harbaugh. I get they're fantastic, but like, how many strikes do you give this guy? Well, how can you not follow the rules? I don't get it. Why? You're Michigan. You're getting 5-star recruits off the Wazang. You're a top 10 team the last 2 years. You're literally bending the rules or breaking the rules. And it's like, well, they're going to get fined $500,000. Who gives a shit? The school pays for it. No one cares. Yeah, it's nothing.
They're always trying to get an edge.
But you don't need to. So I think the hardest part, and we said this, I think when his first punishment came up, I said it at least, the punishment needs to be more harsh than, hey, you can't practice or you can't be there on Saturdays. Okay. Who gives a shit? I mean, I know it will make an impact. Obviously, it didn't make an impact against Penn State. These guys have great coaches who can fill in spots. And you're practicing with them all week so you can implement your game plan throughout the whole week. It's not like you're not there the whole week. So, and I don't know. I think it's so hard. The fines, to me, just never make sense.
The fines don't really make a difference at all.
No.
It's interesting because it seems like the conversation is definitely more focused on just coaches versus like the program as a whole.
100%. Which is crazy.
I think it should be
the program, right?
I think it should be the program and the coaches.
I think they should all be bundled in one.
Right.
Right.
That's how I view it. But it seems like it's only coach driven.
Yeah.
The conversations.
Yeah. Well, I think it'll be very interesting to see too. Obviously, there's going to be some more decisions within the next few weeks. But like, I think it'll be very interesting to see, like, do they give him like a pardon and say, okay, you can coach for Ohio State? That would, if they let him do that, and I'm not saying it's out of the realm, I actually think it's very much in the realm.
Yeah.
If they let him do that, this whole punishment was a laughing stock. This is a laughing stock.
No, I think what is definitely in the cards is, so last Saturday the judge didn't get the ruling in time of like, oh, we're gonna like postpone the suspension or whatever.
Yep.
And so I could see it where it's like, oh, it doesn't happen this week, and then next week towards the end of the week it's like, oh, it magically happened on Thursday right before the game, and now it can't be heard until after this game, so now he can coach in this game.
Yeah.
I think that could definitely happen, and it would not surprise me one bit. So I don't know, but going back to this last Saturday, they played Penn State, 2 top 10 teams against each other. Literally, officially, there was Michigan threw the ball 0 times in the second half. Unofficially, they had 1 pass that there was a defensive pass interference in the second half, so it didn't count as a play. But they literally ran it every single play in the whole second half officially. Yeah, that's insane.
That's what they built off of, though. I think. I mean,
yeah, but that's crazy. 0 passes.
Yeah, well, when you don't
The
have
whole
to, you don't
half?
have to. I mean, here's the thing. I'll say this. I think Penn
nuts.
State is a good team. Don't get me wrong. I think Penn State is a good team. Penn State, to me, always has that mantra where it's like, oh, it's Penn State. They're pretty good defensively, whatever. They never win against good teams. Like James Franklin is like 2-15 against top 10 teams.
Right.
Like, and I'm not saying he's a bad coach. He's done great for that program, and it's great. But like you guys score 15 points. Like, you're just never very good. The leading passer had 70 yards passing, 1 touchdown. That was the Penn State quarterback.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, that's because the Michigan quarterback didn't throw it.
And that's what I'm saying. It's just crazy to me. I mean, it just blows my mind because it's like one of those things where it's like, at some point, let's just call a spade a spade. It's Ohio State, Michigan that are
Every
the teams.
time.
Every time.
Until next year when the other teams
come.
Yep.
100%. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I mean, this week, they play Maryland, I think, and Ohio State obviously plays the Gophers, so upset alert.
All right, next storyline from this last week. Jaden Daniels, LSU quarterback.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
606 total yards. He had over 200 yards rushing and over 300 yards passing, and accounted for 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
That's a great game.
So there was a story on him too. Transferred from, I think, Arizona State.
Okay.
Transferred from Arizona State. When his teammates found out he was transferring,
Yeah.
they actually raided his
Arizona
locker room.
State?
Yeah, Arizona State. They raided his locker room, stole all his stuff, and now he's just balling out at LSU.
Yeah.
And I supported 100%. But I mean, they put up 52 points. He's a very good player. I mean, he's very, 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 very good. He's this tall, slender guy, and he's fast though.
He's so fast.
He's fast.
So fast.
I mean, he's good. Obviously, beating Florida was great. LSU's kind of still one of those teams where it's like they're still kind of on the bubble. They're very good, but I just don't know if they'll ever crack the top 10.
They'll play in a good bowl game, but they obviously have lost
too many games.
3 games
2
total?
So they're 7-3 total. Yep,
3
5-2,
total. Yep. So, I mean, they're out of contention of the playoffs, but they'll be in a good bowl because they're a good team. They're top 25. They play in the SEC. They only have 2 conference losses in the best college football conference in the country. So
yeah. Well, I also think, I mean, you look at last week, there was a lot of really, really actually great games. I mean, Washington played Utah. That was a very good game. Florida State played Miami. Very good game. Georgia just showed their dominance.
yeah, I think they were not happy that they weren't still number 1.
100%. And I think they came out and proved it. I mean, Ole Miss defensively has never been very good. But, I mean, they just put a schmacking on them, which is great. But then...
and this game.
Which one?
That one right there.
Oh, Missouri, Tennessee.
Missouri, Tennessee, low key.
Missouri's good.
Missouri is very good. Yeah, and
very
that was a big game.
Yeah.
Because now Missouri's number 2 on their side of the SEC, above Tennessee.
Yeah. Tennessee's kind of slouching. I don't get it why. I mean, my prediction is way out from the beginning. But then there's also games, I mean, Kansas, unfortunately, their starting quarterback and backup quarterback got hurt, so they didn't really have a guy. And then you kind of look at it, I mean, Colorado, not great. Arizona's decent, but Colorado is supposed to be the shining star. Can't play defense. And then the other team is the big talk is USC not very good?
No, I don't think so.
It's crazy. I mean, we've said this before about teams, and they've always had this issue, even with Lincoln Riley as coach, even Oklahoma. They can score 50 points, they'll give up 55 points. They don't play defense.
But Oregon's good.
No, Oregon's very good. Don't get me wrong, Oregon's very good, but it's been the last 3 or 4 games for them. They just give up so many points.
What are they on a 4-game losing streak?
I believe it's 3. Might be 4. I don't know.
Notre Dame, Washington, Oregon.
Then Utah, right?
Oh,
no, they beat California. They beat Cal.
So they've lost 4 out of the last 5. Yeah,
So-
not good. Let's talk about the Pac-12 since we're on the topic. It's coming down to it, and the Pac-12 race is very interesting to me because you have Washington at the top currently; they're undefeated. You got Oregon number 2.
Okay.
You got then you got Oregon State, I believe.
Okay.
Who has 2 losses. So Oregon has 1 loss, and Oregon State has 2 losses, and Arizona has 2 losses. So it's getting down to it where everybody's pretty close. Oregon State literally plays Washington this week and Oregon the next week. So they play the 2 teams above them. Well, they're tied with Arizona. But they play the 2 teams above them for a chance to get into the Pac-12 championship.
Yeah. I mean, that would be kind of remarkable. I think Washington has kind of been the team that has shown dominance, and obviously beating Oregon before is great, but if Oregon State can come out and beat Oregon and Washington, damn.
Yeah, so Oregon and Oregon State played the last week, right? And the only reason Washington's undefeated and Oregon has 1 loss is because they've already played and Washington beat them.
Yeah.
So,
So here's my question. I actually think I heard this. I'm hopefully going to say it right. So hypothetically speaking, it could come down to the end of the year, and there could be 6 or 7 teams that potentially could make the Final Four.
Can I ask you a question before you
go
go
for
into this?
Yeah.
Because I had one last question on my list of things to ask you.
Yeah.
At the current moment, how many teams total can realistically say that they still have a chance to make the college football playoff?
Let's see.
And name them as you go through.
So Georgia, obviously.
Yeah.
This is the hard part. I want to say one of these 2 teams, Michigan or Ohio State.
Well, I think you can include both of them as they
potential.
both realistically have a chance to make the playoff.
So Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State.
Okay.
I think Washington.
Yeah.
I do think Oregon.
Okay.
Texas with a little help, yes, and Alabama. I just don't think Louisville has that. I think Louisville's very good. I just don't know.
So
if they
8
have it.
teams.
8 teams, and that was my point. So it comes down to it. If Georgia's only loss is to Alabama in the SEC championship, you take Georgia out? No, right?
Yeah.
So then you have Michigan, Ohio State. So if Ohio State beats Michigan, Michigan's basically automatically out, and vice versa. Florida State wins out, they're in. So now you have Georgia, Michigan or Ohio State, Florida State, and then you have, you have to put Alabama. They won the SEC. So that's 4 teams right there, and then you have the winner of the Pac-12 if Washington wins out. That's 5. And potentially Oregon. Or Texas if they win out. The Big 12.
Yeah, no.
There's a lot of teams, man.
There is a lot.
It's going to come down to, it's the hardest part, and it's kind of one of those things we've talked about in the past. Alabama obviously lost to Texas early on, their only loss.
I think that's why Texas is
One
currently
step
above Alabama.
Right, and I think it's just crazy. It's if they could beat Georgia in the SEC championship, obviously you have to win all your games going up to that. But I do think it is, it's one of those things where it's they're going to have a tough job, I think, this year. It's going to be hard to pick 4.
Well,
if everything goes to plan.
Yeah, there's still a lot. There's 3 weeks. There's 2 regular season plus the championships after that, right? And so I think it will start to work itself out. Obviously Michigan or Ohio State, one of them will have to lose, right?
Here's my question for that, quick. If Michigan beats Ohio State, and then Michigan loses in the Big Ten championship, is there any thought, or is Michigan that team automatically in the Big Ten championship doesn't matter? If both teams go to undefeated till the last week, Michigan wins, and then somehow loses in the Big Ten championship, do you ever think about flipping Ohio State in there, or is it Michigan no matter what? Because they made it to there.
No, if Michigan beats Ohio State but then loses, I don't think that Ohio State
Should
would
jump up.
go in.
Okay. So whoever wins the final
Because
week
Michigan
between Michigan and
beat
Ohio State. Got it.
You can't. I mean, if they both have one loss,
Yeah.
then yeah, that wouldn't make any sense.
So whoever wins that final week is in, no matter what the result of the Big Ten championship is.
I think pretty much.
That's fair. And I think for the Big Ten's sake, I think that gives you your best chance to compete.
Right. Absolutely.
So.
But the thing that will be challenging is if Georgia, if Georgia loses, but Florida State and Washington are still undefeated. That's going to be the challenging part, because if Georgia loses to Alabama, then...
Oh, wait, Georgia plays Alabama the last game of the year.
No, because that's the SEC championship.
Oh, it's already decided.
It's already decided that.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Georgia, Alabama,
Sorry, yeah.
Right. So if Alabama beats Georgia, but Florida State and Washington, and then one of Michigan, Ohio State are all undefeated, that's going to be very interesting, because Alabama just beat Georgia, right? They both have one loss. It came the last week of the year, and then you have 3 undefeated teams. So, in other words, you would essentially have to choose between one of the Georgia, who's been number 1 the entire year, Alabama, who just won the SEC championship, or not including one of the 3 major conference winners that are all undefeated. That would be the most interesting result, because one team who is worthy of being in the playoffs would not be in it this year with the current setup.
Yeah.
So that would be like, I'm sure that the committee or whoever is like, this is the only thing that cannot happen, because there is literally no right answer.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, like, if that was the case, who do you think would be out?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
No, you have to pick one.
If Georgia, so who are the possible teams? So Georgia.
So Georgia goes undefeated until the SEC championship.
Okay.
Loses to Alabama.
Yep.
We'll just say Michigan beats Ohio State.
Okay.
Right? And Michigan's undefeated.
And wins the Big Ten.
They win the Big Ten, yep.
Okay.
Florida State wins out, they win the ACC.
Okay.
Washington wins out, they win the Pac-12.
Okay.
And Alabama beat Georgia in the SEC championship. So Georgia and Alabama have one loss. Michigan, Florida State, and Washington are undefeated, and they all won regular season and conference championship. Who's out?
I think Alabama's out.
Really?
Yeah. I think the only reason Alabama's out is because, and I know recency bias does play a part, but like,
they just beat Georgia last week.
100%. But also you could they also lost to Texas earlier on. I truly think if that happens, I think they'll put Georgia in, and I think they'll put Michigan in, Florida State, Washington.
Oh my gosh. People would riot.
So you think they should put Alabama in? You're going to get a riot either way if that happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lose-lose.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the
Who do you don't think Georgia should be in?
I think that they would
give it to Alabama.
I think they would kick Georgia out.
That would, yeah.
Because
that would be crazy.
The reason why is because I think Alabama beating them literally
recency
days
bias
before they figure it out. That and the strength of schedule that Georgia has is not great.
It's weaker than
they haven't played a lot of great teams this whole year. Obviously, they've played the SEC schedule that they have. However, just overall as a schedule, it hasn't been the hardest schedule, right? And so it's one of those things where, okay, the reason why you guys are undefeated, one could argue, is because you haven't played as many challenging teams. You didn't play at Texas out of conference.
Yeah.
Whereas Alabama can say, well, we played Texas, we played the SEC schedule, whatever we were given, just like you, and now we just beat you.
So here's my other question.
That's
Last thing about it I want to talk about. Here's my other question. Florida State goes undefeated. Louisville goes undefeated. Louisville beats Florida State in the ACC championship. Now Florida State has one loss. Louisville beats them, still one loss. Do you put either of those teams in there?
It depends on what happens in the other
Okay.
conferences.
So let's say the situation still happens. Alabama beats Georgia. Do you still have Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, Washington?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Yeah,
Strength of schedule.
if Washington, Florida State, if either of those two teams lose,
Yeah.
then they're done.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got it.
but it would. I mean, I think Oregon needs some help to get in. I think Washington has it, like it's all up to them. Texas needs some help. Alabama, in theory, kind of controls their own destiny.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. There's still a lot up for grabs, but I agree. There's really, probably eight teams that have a realistic chance to get into the playoff and one of the 4 spots.
Yeah. It will be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it'll be an exciting last few.
Yeah, that's how it should be, though.
There you go.
Okay, let's move on to NFL quickly.
NFL. Yes, sir. Week 10 is in the books.
Yep.
We're on to week 11.
Which game was the most surprising win in week 10? I've narrowed it down to 3 for you. The Texans over the Bengals,
Mm-hmm.
the Browns over the Ravens, or the Broncos over the Bills?
I would probably say the Broncos over the Bills.
Really?
I'll say this
How come?
because I think the Bengals, yes, are very good. They've shown some flaws. The Texans are a very good team. They are a very, very good team. Like, their offense is very good. Their defense is good. And they're young. They'll be good for a while. I think the Texans this year, what are they right now? 5-4.
Yeah.
They got 7 more games.
They're 1 game behind the Jags.
I don't think they'll win the division, but I think they'll probably finish at 8 or 9
They
wins.
beat the Jags the first time.
Exactly. They're no slouches anymore. So I think people go in there and they expect to win. The Broncos, I'll just say this. I think the only reason I say that team is because the Bills were people's Super Bowl contenders.
Mm-hmm.
And
They haven't played as well.
they're trash
this year.
Who was the other team?
The Browns over the Ravens.
I thought that was a crazy game. I mean, the Browns are crazy. They're 6-3 somehow, and every game seems to be within one score. But I do also think at the same time with the Browns, like the Ravens, they just blew it.
They did.
So they'll probably bounce back against the Bengals. That makes this game even more exciting. If the Ravens would have won that and been 8-2, they basically are running away with it. Now, if they lose to the Bengals this weekend, it's gonna be closer.
Tightens things up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that leads us right.
Do the
into
Bills
next
stink?
part.
Do the Bills stink? Be honest. I know you're a homer because you have Josh Allen and Dalton Kincaid, but do the Bills stink? I think we can honestly answer that.
Yeah, it's a fair question. The injuries haven't helped them specifically on defense.
Yeah.
And so you even look at the game last night, their defense played pretty well. It's not like the Broncos offense was just dominated the game.
No.
And so I think it right now is they just have so many questions and issues on offense that's the main reason why they're not winning games.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I think what's crazy is when I look at it, it's so the first play of the game, obviously, well, you might have not seen it, but James Cook fumbles.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 2 fumbles. Okay, obviously not your ideal start. You hold them to a field goal. There was so many times where, granted, Josh Allen had a lot of turnovers, but the Broncos would also just go 3 and out, give it right back, and they just couldn't do anything.
Right, exactly.
And so it's like you said, I agree 100%. The defense is actually, even with these injuries, is the one that's keeping it together.
Mm-hmm.
And so, also, the guy missed a field goal. You have 12 guys on the field. How do you have 12 guys?
Yeah,
you know what's coming. They're going to run one more play and then hurry their guys on to kick a field goal.
Well,
just run off. Even if you have 10 guys or 9 guys, who cares?
Everybody was so worried about the Broncos getting people on because the time was running.
Yeah.
But everybody forgot, that means the Bills
Defense
also has to do that. And they obviously did not.
So I have a question, and maybe this might be a dumb question, but so if the Broncos substitute like that and run their guys on, technically don't the Bills also have a chance to substitute? So why wouldn't you just see, there's 12 guys, somebody run off late? Because you can, right? You can substitute late.
So they have to.
Or do you have a certain amount of time? I don't get that, because usually how when you've seen you substitute late and the play clock's like 3-2, and the offensive team has to call a timeout because they substitute late.
I think.
Why wouldn't you just wait and substitute late?
Yeah, the Bills probably should
Is
have
that a
done
thing?
that. Yeah, but I think you have to be like moving. That's like which game was it? I can't remember which one it was, but the team was purposely substitute.
Substitute late?
it was a college game. It was against USC. I believe it was Utah versus USC, and USC would substitute, and Utah would purposely
Wait?
substitute. No, you can't, because I don't think you can wait. You actually have to like make an effort to
Get off.
substitute.
Okay.
But they would purposely substitute their biggest and slowest guy onto the field, and so they would be like halfway down the field, and they would just come sauntering down, and they'd continue moving, right? So like they're showing an effort, but that person would be like very slowly, because biggest guy on the team, to get onto the field, and the other guy would be coming off, and the ref would hold up, and there were multiple times that USC had to call a timeout because they weren't able to
Get them off.
say hike before the clock.
So, I mean, maybe it can happen like that. It just is so crazy to me where it's like, you know what's coming. Like, obviously, they're going to kneel it. They did it earlier in the game. They've done that twice now. Just get your guys off the field.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot, that's inexcusable. You can't have 12 guys on the field.
They probably should have been telling whoever has the little headset.
Yeah.
Like, the coach should have been like, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is what you need to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, I guess.
But I don't know.
That's crazy.
Okay, so AFC playoff picture here. The AFC and the NFC are in two very different places, because you have the AFC, which has, so all of the division leaders currently are 6-3 or better, right? And then all the wild cards are 6-3. The Steelers and the Browns are 6-3, and then the Texans are in the last spot at 5-4. At 5-4, 5-5, or 4-5 is literally 8 teams.
Yeah.
So there's 8 teams that are between 5-4, 5-5, and 4-5. That's a lot of teams. So currently, only one of those teams in that situation would be in the playoffs. Everybody else is 6-3 or better. So if you have 5 wins or 4 wins, there's literally 8 teams that have that, and only one of them would get in currently.
Right. Well, and you kind of look at this too, like for some of these schedules, like the Steelers have only played 2 division games. So they still have 4 more.
Yeah. So it'll start to work itself out, because obviously
The division games obviously will be a lot more critical,
the
but
AFC
I think
North won't just have every team into the playoffs.
right. But I think it does show. I mean, I think it is crazy because it's like some of these games you look at, like the Steelers, like everyone's waiting for the Steelers to fall off. Like they're not good. They're not good.
But they don't.
But they don't. Cleveland Browns, same way. They find a way to win. Then you look at the Bills. It's like, okay, so the Bills are like I just asked, they're not as great
And
as
they
people
have
think.
like the hardest schedule
They have
left.
the 3rd hardest schedule, I think, coming up. And then, but it also kind of works. I mean, it's a hard schedule, but it works in your favor because when you're playing the top teams, every time you win, you almost
can
get
move up.
right. Chargers are always predicted to be pretty decent. They're 4-5. They're at the bottom. And I mean, I don't think the Jets or Broncos are really that great. I also don't think Las Vegas is very good.
But they're still in it.
But they're still in it. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, yeah, the Colts just keep finding ways to win. And I mean, at this point too, if we're talking about the AFC, Bill Belichick has to be done, right? Like they just have to do a revamp. Like Mac Jones sucks. I'm sorry for you, BW. He stinks.
They just signed a extension.
For Bill or Mac?
Yeah, Bill.
Well, that's fine, but Mac Jones is not your quarterback. And also, you bring in a backup quarterback.
The last drive of the game.
The last drive of the game,
That
and then
didn't make
also
any
on top
sense.
of it, you guys run a fake spike? Just spike the ball.
Do you think that they called that, or he did that to try and be sneaky?
Be a hero. I think he might have actually, to be honest, by the reactions of people, I think he tried to do it to be sneaky, and
Really?
it just didn't work. I mean, everyone's right when he threw it, everyone was like, "What the?" And then the classic quarterback BS. He throws it, and it's terrible. And he goes, "It's like, dude, there's 4 guys next to him.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if he cut or not.
There
That's
were
a pick."
4 guys there.
So, I don't know. I think it's.
I mean, you're setting the guy up for failure because you literally have not played him the entire game,
Yeah.
and then you put him in under 2 minutes left in a game where you have to score a touchdown. That part
Doesn't
make any sense from a coaching perspective.
So do you think next game, though, it would make more sense if they were like, all right, Bailey Zappi, you're starting. We're benching Mac Jones. You almost have to do that, right?
Well, yeah, you kind of do now. But, like, even in that game, if you, like, you have to make a decision earlier than that so that the first drive of the game that this guy is playing isn't the one that means the most.
Right, you're warming up.
Right? Like, you have to make a decision earlier than that, either at the beginning of the second half, at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Like, the last drive of the game, under 2 minutes, when all the pressure is on, that can't be the guy's first drive of the game.
Right.
That just doesn't make any sense. Like, you literally are throwing him to the wolves and be like, well, good luck. It's not like he's this like raggedy vet that's played a bunch in the past. It's also a young guy. So like you're just setting him up for failure.
Yeah, setting him up for failure. And also, I mean, I don't know if anyone's noticed about the Patriots. They don't score a lot of touchdowns.
No, they don't.
So it's not like you have weapons on the outside. Like,
no.
I'm not saying Demario Douglas is bad, but like Juju Smith-Schuster, like what are we doing?
So I would almost say keeping Mac Jones in for that last drive would have been better.
Would have been more beneficial, 100%. But NFC, quickly, kind of a different topic. I mean, it's very top heavy, very, very top heavy.
Yeah. And there's a kind of a gap after the playoff teams.
100%. And I think, to be honest, when you just look at these teams, like there is a gap just in the teams, like
in talent-wise.
Like you look at Carolina Panthers, like obviously still need a lot of help. Arizona Cardinals, okay, Kyler's back. They did look more fun to watch for sure.
That's a dog of the week.
Giants are legitimately. We've talked about this before. Without Daniel Jones, we thought Daniel Jones was bad. The Giants are the worst offense in the league by far.
I told you that Daniel Jones was a good option. You were like, I think we talked about that maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago.
It's a good option.
Is Daniel Jones the quarterback that you would want for the Giants? Is like he's better than anybody else they got.
Yeah. Oh, a lot better than anyone they got. Dude, this Tommy DeVito guy. I've said this before about people. I don't understand how some of these quarterbacks are in the NFL. Like, there has to be better players or veterans.
Like, I mean,
veterans?
At this point, they just don't want to spend any more money to bring somebody in. Right. So they're kind of just like, well,
screw it.
Throw them out.
Then you got, like, the Bears, not great. Still rebuilding, kind of, I guess. Rams are actually kind of a surprise to me.
That they're that bad?
Yeah.
They've
their defense, and they got their
injuries.
Yeah, Packers stink. Falcons don't really know how to use their weapons, so I'm not surprised. Yeah, they also stink. Commanders, which is crazy about the Commanders, is because offensively, sometimes the Commanders play and they're like, whoa, this offense is really good.
Yeah.
And then you look at them and you're like, whoa, this team is really bad. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, actually, probably out of these teams, are definitely the best one. I think the Buccaneers are really actually not bad at all. Their defense has shown up a few games, but then also at the same time, like Baker Mayfield's been solid for them.
Yeah, very solid.
And then obviously the huge gap.
Yeah, so literally you went through every single team that is not in the playoffs if the season ended right now. And there is maybe one team that you can realistically look at and say, hey, that's a potential playoff team.
Yes.
So like
yeah.
Everybody else is not.
No.
Which is incredible to say because there is that gap. And so it's hard to see these teams that aren't in the playoffs if the season ended today be a team that could make the push in the last 7 games or so and get into the playoffs. The only one is really the South Division where the Saints are currently leading at 5-5.
Right, it could flip in
and
one
the
game.
Buccaneers are a half game back because they've played one less game.
Right, and it could flip one time. I mean, they're 1-1 in the division, so they still have a few more games. So, but that is the one division. But besides that, I don't think it's not even particularly close, to be honest. I mean, these teams are starting to figure it out, and they're just actually widening the gap even more. So
yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah,
but
I mean that is wild.
A tale of 2 conferences.
A tale of 2 conferences. A tale of the Tides. Games of the week. This week. What do you want? What are you looking for?
Eagles Chiefs Monday night.
I think it would be a very good rematch.
Super Bowl rematch.
Who do you got?
I think the
Chiefs are at home. 2.5 point favorites for anybody out there that cares.
I think the Chiefs will win.
Chiefs will win?
Yeah.
Well, that's my dog of the week. I'm taking the Eagles. for sure. I think the Eagles will bounce back. I think the Eagles. The Chiefs are very good. I just don't know how anybody's like the Eagles though. Their offense is just freaking dominant. They have so many different weapons. Like DeAndre Swift is all of a sudden back.
Yeah, he is.
So this should be a fun game though. I mean, that will probably that and Thursday night game will probably be the games of the week.
Yep, totally.
Realistically.
My dog of the week, since we're on the topic, is the Vikings. I'm setting myself up for heartbreak, but
Double heartbreak.
I think they got it because they're 2.5-point underdogs at Denver, who just beat the Bills. I understand that. However, it's the Denver Broncos, and the Vikes are on a heater.
Mm-hmm.
So 2.5. I understand the home and road thing, but like, we just saw that their offense can't do anything, and one could argue the Vikings defense is better than the Bills potentially after the injuries.
Well, I think they're playing very well, and they have that swagger. I mean, obviously, injuries will also play a part for them.
Totally.
But I also think right now,
Well, did you see who we signed?
well, like Anthony Barr is back.
Big AB, baby.
I'm saying
We
offensively.
needed
though,
a guy that can listen to the coach's calls.
Gosh,
That's used to it.
we'll see it. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it is kind of crazy. We'll see. I mean, it is interesting too. Like the Seahawks-Rams game, it's at LA. Seahawks are only 1-point favorite, but
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. So.
All right, let's get into the smash don't pass. Who's your quarterback?
Smash don't pass. I'm going back to the Vikes game. I got Russell Wilson projected 15.6 points. Like Chris just said, Broncos might have to score a little bit to keep up with us. 15.6 is 2 touchdowns and like 200 yards. And he runs now.
That would be it. Yeah.
I think the Vikes will win 35-17. Russell Wilson 2 touchdown passes.
35 for the Vikes.
Yeah, somehow.
All right, I'm going Jared Goff. 16.6 is his projection. And the Lions, I mean,
Bears,
all they do is win, it seems.
Literally win.
Yeah, they play the Bears. They're at home, so they're inside. They don't have to worry about the bad weather. And, I mean, Jared Goff has a lot of weapons. He can dump it off to his running backs. He can throw it to his best wide receiver. He can throw it to the tight end. So
One of the best tight ends. Yeah, he definitely has weapons.
got a lot of weapons. 16.6, I think that's money.
Money. So my running back, Aaron Jones. Packers play at home against the Chargers. Obviously a high-scoring team. 15.2 is the projection. I think he'll catch a lot of balls because they'll be behind. So I think he'll smash 15.2.
All right, my running back. You know who it is. He's back. It's Devon Achane, baby. I have been waiting 5 weeks to see him in the lineup. They're playing the Raiders at home. So it's a nice sunny 80 degrees. You don't have to worry about the legs getting tight. He's back from injury. He's projected 12.7. He's played in 3 full games and he's never scored less than 20 points. I don't think you're going to see a projection this low the rest of the year because he's about to dominate. Nobody can catch him. The Raiders' defense is mediocre, and they're not that good against the run. So, I mean, I'm just excited to fire him up. 12.7 is like locked in.
It just will all really come down to for him how much they actually play him.
He says he's ready to go.
Yeah, well, a lot of these guys say they're ready.
And I've seen videos of him running, and he looks ready to go.
So there it is. My pass catcher is T.J. Hawkinson. Only projected somehow 12.8. Last week, if anybody knows, he got over 30, I think.
So
Josh Dobbs' legitimate favorite target in the world. And I truthfully don't just say this because I'm playing him in fantasy, but I don't think Justin Jefferson will be back this week. So I think T.J. Hawkinson will take the realm and dominate against the Broncos.
Yep, and I'm going to go with Amari Cooper. He's projected 12.8. They play the Steelers. I feel like he scores over 12 points every single game. He's clearly their best receiver. And, obviously, if Deshaun Watson plays, that's probably better for him.
I just don't think, can he even play? Is he having like an MRI?
He did have an MRI for his ankle, but he only missed 1 snap, and it happened in the second quarter.
Really?
So he played the whole second half with his ankle thing.
That's crazy.
I think he has a high ankle sprain. So he'll probably play, I would assume. If he
Yeah.
doesn't, it's not as good for Amari Cooper. However, I still think that he is able to get to 12.8 if their backup plays.
Well, yeah, if he doesn't get to 12.8, that might be a long day for the Browns.
Yeah, which I would not be mad about, but I think they'll get to it.
They'll get to it, so.
Yep.
There we go.
All right, cool.
Bang, bang.
All right, we're moving to Fave 4.
We're doing something a little different.
Well, so I think we do our fave fours.
And then
Then we
call our guest.
Ring.
Who better answer this time? Because
Yep.
last time we called her, she didn't answer. But this is legitimately
Wait.
third topic.
Sorry, before we get to fave four, I just want to give an extra special shout out to my sister. She unfortunately got the eliminator pick incorrectly. However, she was the last one.
Who'd she pick?
She picked the Bills. Yeah.
That's almost not a
Pretty
guarantee,
tough.
but that
Pretty
is
tough. But yeah, shout out to my sister. She made it a whole 10 weeks. And
Well, technically 9.
yeah, technically 9 weeks, but
Yeah, damn,
pretty
she
good
didn't
mark.
pick the Bills yet. That's pretty good.
yeah. All right. Anyways, fave four. Okay, so we're gonna start a little series here. It's gonna be the next 4 weeks. We'll circle back to this as the appropriate times come about. However, we are in our Taylor Swift era, as a lot of people are. So we're going to go album by album. Obviously, we're only doing Taylor's versions. And let me just preface this by saying I would probably consider Dave and I mediocre Swifties. We're not full Swifties.
Mediocre? I would say, I'm sorry, man. I'm on the low end of Swiftie.
All right. So Dave's on the low end, and I'm probably maybe a little higher than that, but I would still say.
I mean, I didn't know who she.
In the
I didn't
middle.
know who she was until she started dating Travis Kelce.
Well, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. So I'm glad he put her on the map. I'm glad we're all doing that. So
Yeah.
yeah, here we go.
Okay, so we're starting with the first album that was Taylor's version that was released. So we're doing Fearless first.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do fave 4 T Swift songs on the Fearless album.
Yes. Like Chris said, we're flipping.
I want to flip today because I've lost literally like 5 or 6 in a row.
Heads.
It's tails.
It is tails. Ooh.
All right. I'm gonna do. I'll do second.
Okay. My first pick is Love Story.
Okay. That was pretty low on my list, actually.
It's literally your number 1 stream song from that album. If anybody cares.
Really?
No worries. I don't care.
I think that's a mediocre.
Okay.
I'm gonna do Fearless.
Okay.
I mean, it's the name of the album. And then I'm also gonna do my personal favorite on this album, Tell Me Why.
Ooh, I don't know that one. So my first or second one, sorry, is going to be Breathe.
Ooh.
And then my
Who's that with?
No idea. I'm not a Swiftie. I don't know who it is.
K.A.
Oh, here we go. Whatever. That only bumps it up. I didn't even know. But and then my third one is I'm gonna go with White Horse.
Okay, that wasn't on my list.
Well, to be honest, I was actually low key listening to these at work to try to figure it out.
I'm gonna do. We'll go with Forever and Always.
Okay.
And then my last one is gonna be Jump Then Fall.
See, I've never heard Jump Then Fall, but I have never heard that one.
Yeah, I mean, you play right now.
My last one is You Belong With Me.
Alright.
So, there we go.
You did all right because 3 out of your 4.
I did all right. Come on, this
3 out of
guy-
your 4 are on
I
my
did
list.
all right.
Of potentials.
I am not a Swiftie. I'm just prefacing. I have nothing against her. I'm just not a Swiftie. But
Alright.
I'm glad I did all right. I'll take that.
What was your 4th one? You had Love
You
Story.
Belong With Me.
You Belong With Me. Breathe and what was
White
it?
Horse.
Oh my gosh.
So now we're gonna call our friend. Might just call Matt.
No, call Abby.
Okay. See if Abby answers. Obviously, as we know,
Put her on
the
speaker.
The first time she didn't actually answer, so we're calling her.
Do you want to talk to her? Do you want me
You
to?
can talk to her.
Alright.
It's on speaker. Dun dun. It's ringing. It's still ringing. It's still ringing.
Your call has been
See?
forwarded to
Call
a-
Matt. Call Matt.
That's disappointing.
Just type in Matt Meyer. Matt Meyer. This was our great ideas. We're gonna see which ones they pick.
From an actual Swiftie.
Abby is a very big Swiftie. Do you think Andrew Paul would know? Oh.
Dave, what's up?
Matt,
Yeah.
we're live on the podcast right now. Sorry to disrupt you. Are you by Abby?
Yeah, 1 sec.
Well, we're just okay. Nice. Yeah.
We need her.
You need her opinion?
Yeah.
Well, we need her to fave 4.
She's got to pick one. Ready, you already have the category.
Yeah, we were.
Oh, this is her
We did.
category.
Okay, hold on 1 sec.
This game got out of hand fast.
We can delete this part.
Alright, Dave, you got her.
Well, Chris
Abby?
will describe it.
Hi, Abby.
You're live.
Oh boy.
You better- You better
No. This
bump
is-
up the energy.
This is your category. We were thinking about you when we made this category.
All right. So you're live on the podcast. We needed to call a resident Swiftie. So we're starting a new series, and we're going through each album, and we're giving fave 4s for each album. So obviously we're starting with Fearless.
Okay.
And so
No respect to debut.
no, we're doing Taylor's versions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
A
obviously.
true Swiftie just calls
Come
us
on
out
now.
because she.
All right, so we've done our fave 4s, but we need your fave 4 from Fearless, Taylor's version.
Okay. Are you including both songs or no?
Of course. It's Taylor's version.
That makes it so much harder.
You get 4.
4, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Jeez, come on. Okay, the number 1 song on the album. Should I start with 1 or should I start with 4? You guys.
You can go with.
You can go with whatever you want.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
Your
have them in
choice.
from 4 to 1 or 1 to 4, you can go.
Oh gosh, this is stressful. Okay, number 1 I'm gonna say is. Oh Jesus Christ, this is hard. I'm gonna say Forever and Always. It's number 1.
Okay.
All right, good pick.
Number 2, I'm gonna say is 15.
Oh, that
All right.
actually, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Number 3, oh god, this is very, it's tough. Number 3, I'm gonna say, jeez, hard. Is The Way I Loved You.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that's a vault song?
No.
Oh, all right. Never mind.
Come on.
I know. Bad shot.
And
Bad
I
call.
think number 4, I'm gonna say is Change.
Dang.
Oh, that's
Dang, we only have one of those, I think.
All right.
What one? Am I gonna have to wait till we hear what you guys picked?
We can tell you ours.
Yeah, because we can recap them.
Yeah, Dave. All right, so Dave's list is
What was my first? Well, I can't remember.
Love Story.
So it was Love Story.
Okay.
Then it was Breathe.
Yep.
Then it
Great
was
song.
what? Well, not in your top 4 though.
Then it was
White Horse.
Oh, so good.
And then I forgot what the last one. Oh, You Belong With Me. But I don't know if I've ever. I listened to that today, and it was the last one that was in my memory. So.
Two good picks.
mine was Fearless.
Yep.
Tell Me Why.
So good.
Forever and Always.
Yep.
And then Jump Then Fall.
See, they're all good.
Low key banger.
They're all good.
Yeah. So there it is.
Perfect. All right.
Week
Thank
1
you,
in the
Abby.
books. Thanks, Abby.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
See ya. All right, so there you have it from a true Swiftie. Only said 1 of the 4, I guess. We need to pick our game up.
Yeah. We're
I mean, I will say this in defense. There's like 20 songs.
there's 26 songs.
26 freaking songs.
So
The odds were kind of in our favor, but we
Well, we had 8.
8 of the
and
26.
She picked 1 that we picked. But that's all right. We're learning along with everybody. So
Yeah.
drop us a vote.
Let us know your favorite 4.
Yeah.
Or it's good
If
sign.
there's-
Maybe if we missed.
Yeah, if there's other ones that you think are in the top 4,
Mm-hmm.
then we're gonna need you guys to
Drop them.
put that input in.
Mhm.
And if you're like, you guys nailed it, that's my 4, then I think we also want to hear that.
Yeah.
We need a little pump up after that.
Yeah, that was
Performance.
demoralizing, to be honest. But there you have it.
All right, 13 or 14.
14.
Number 14.
We're out of here. Peace.
See ya.